locations and find a store near you.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Culture and lifestyle. We have a great show for you tonight, like we do every night. We have a guest, and of course, we have a question tonight, the good question. We definitely have a good question for you tonight. We also are going to let you know what you should get into this weekend, what you should watch, because there's a lot that's available out there. Your time is valuable, so we're going to give you some options. So let me get into the headlines, what we're going to talk about tonight, and tell you who our guest is. So we're going to talk about rapper G Herbo. He is being sentenced. We're going to get into what's going on, why, and how many years he's looking at. We're going to talk about Damon Dash. Damon Dash is still talking about him, Aaliyah, and Jay-Z. And he's talking about why he feels Jay-Z is still salty at him over Aaliyah. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about Stephen A. Smith. One of Stephen A. Smith's friends and colleagues revealed that Stephen A. has a beef with a female journalist. We're going to get into that, and we're going to get into, was it okay to reveal this information? We're going to talk a little bit about Snoop Dogg. He says there is a reason Jay-Z has never invited him to the Rock Nation brunch. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about ex-NFL star Antonio Brown. He is after someone's wife, and he has plans for her, and he directed a quote about the situation to this man. Tell me if you think he is out of line under these circumstances. We have all that and more coming up, and our guest for the evening is Giovanni Watson. Now, you will recognize Giovanni for his time on Hollywood Unlocked, the podcast. You also have seen him all over your TV screen. We're going to get into that, and something that I just discovered tonight, Giovanni was a dancer, y'all. He was on tour, so we're going to get into that because I need to know what that is like and those transitions from being on stage dancing to being in front of the camera, because, you know, there's a story there. So we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, you know, I have a couple of conversation starters, just some little bits and tidbits and things that are happening that I feel like you should know and keep up with. So first of all, A$AP Rocky has directed his first commercial. It's for Beats by Dre, and it features a cameo of Rihanna. So if you're online, go check it out. It's on Beats and everything. It's a pretty cute concept. So go check out the Bahang Princess. There is something happening as far as cars and something we all envisioned. I don't know if you watched like the Jetsons as a little kid, that cartoon. So pretty much everything that the Jetsons predicted we're living in now. We have the phone where we can see the person that we're talking to, right? We have robots that are cleaning our homes. We have robots that are controlling our lights, our doors, our windows. But the flying cars thing, that hasn't really swung around, right? Well, there is a California company that is about to attempt, at least, to make that happen. So we're going to get into a couple of those details when we come forward. You are listening to KBLA Talk 1580, RSVP with Jill Munroe.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
More when we come forward.
I'm James Alexander, a proud member of AARP. 1967, I was 17. That spring, my friends, the Barcades, and I made Soulfinger. It was a hit. Number 3 on the charts. That summer, we became the Great Otis Redding's Band. First gig, the famed Apollo. That fall, we toured. That winter found me in a morgue identifying the bodies of my bandmates and Otis Redding. My music and their memories bring me joy. The Barcades forever.
What would you call a joy that is as solemn as it is sweet and knows no bounds? a joy that's beautifully rooted in soul and resilience. This is Black joy, a joy that reflects pride and honor despite every challenge. AARP believes the power of Black joy is limitless, and we celebrate this joy supreme. Join us in celebrating Black joy at aarp.org/Black community.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried new Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in 1 wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family was founded to help address domestic violence and sexual assault in the Asian and the Pacific Islander communities. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family's mission is to build healthy and safe communities by addressing the root causes and consequences of family violence and violence against women. They are committed to meeting the specific cultural and language needs of the Asian and Pacific Islander women and their families. CPAF's vision is of an Asian and Pacific Islander community that embraces healthy relationships and works in partnership with other communities to eradicate all forms of violence. To access services, volunteer, or for more info, visit nurturingchange.org. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe everyone deserves to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are live checking in with RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. And as I promised, we're going to hit up these headlines, but I'm not going to do it alone. My guest has a lot of experience kicking these hot topics. An actor, a dancer, as I mentioned that I recently learned, and a filmmaker. So we're going to get into all of that, plus these topics. Welcome, Giovanni Watson, to RSVP with Jill Munroe.
Thank you. Oh, Lord.
Okay.
I'm in the building, man. I'm happy and I'm blessed to be here. Thank you so much.
You are in the building. So before we get into it, my good question of the night is, I saw on social media there's been a lot of conversation, and there was an article about flight etiquette. And are solo travelers obligated to give up their seat or move when there's a family that wants to sit together? I say no. I say it's nice if they do, but they aren't obligated. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it depends on how I feel that day. You know, it's like if I'm at the movies and, you know, it's a group or a couple that wants to sit next to each other, but I'm in that seat, I'll give it to them. But it depends on who I'm sitting next to on the plane. And that seat is where somebody wants to sit next to them. It just depends on how I feel. You're not obligated to, just like you ain't obligated to tip.
Right. I mean, I feel like if you're giving me a seat that is equal, like I'm not going to give up my window or aisle seat to sit in the middle to help you out. Like something that, that's not going to go down. But
I'm not a middle seat guy.
Yeah, me neither. And I'm short, so like people just want to crawl over me, but that's neither here nor there. So Giovanni, tell me how a guy from Gary, Indiana, Michael Jackson's home. You know, it's interesting. We've had like 2 or 3 other guests on in the past couple of weeks that have been for Gary. So you guys are lighting it up. You probably do.
It's a lot of us out here.
Okay, a little contingent.
Yes.
Okay, so at what point did you realize I'm headed to LA, and were you already like touring and doing that? I know you have your early roots in performing arts in high school.
Come on now, journalists.
Come on, I'm saying we got to do a little bit of research. We respect the process.
I left the nest at 16, 17 to come to LA. I even didn't graduate from high school. I graduated from homeschool.
Okay. Ooh.
But you're right. But everybody assumed that I had dropped out of high school. But little did they know, I was out here dancing. I danced working with big artists.
How does that happen? How does a guy from Gary, Indiana, that's still a teenager, get to LA and start working with big artists?
Man, this guy by the name of Roland Tabor. He's a legendary choreographer. Choreographed and danced for Leah.
Okay.
MC Hammer, Backstreet Boys. He's known for all the things for like Amorian's Touch, Icebox. He was choreographing for my sister like over how many years ago. And she was about to be an artist, and she was dope. And he came out there to choreograph for her, and I knew who he was. You know, I was a fan. So I seized my opportunity, and I tried to battle this man at 16, 17, and he just
got served before you got served happened?
He told me to shreds with a glass of wine in his hand.
Oh, no.
And didn't drop a drop. And he said, hey, man, if you ever in L.A., man, here's my card. Unbeknownst to me and my sisters was coming to L.A. to shop to these labels. And I hit him up, and he said, come to this audition. And there was only about 4 guys in there, and it was for Omarion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you are. So, okay, you had your Omarion moment, heartthrob out there doing your do.
Ooh, that was nice, though.
You know, little tick,
Uh-huh.
right? Okay, so when you're a dancer, right, was it always in the plans like, I'm going to go out there, I'm locking down in this dance thing, but what I really want to do is act, or did that come later because you're out here in LA, Hollywood, surrounded by all aspects of the entertainment industry?
Well, the acting was always first. You know, ever since I was a kindergartner, I played Martin Luther King in the kindergarten play. It was something that I always was drawn to because I had a personality. I was a class clown. I was consistently getting kicked out the room, go to the principal office because I was always impersonating somebody, and that's how I really found out how I could dance. It was this dude in school named Michael Franklin. Oh, I hate that brother.
Still to this day.
Because he could really dance. And I was a little jealous. I was a freshman. I was like, man, look at him dancing and stuff. And everybody was like, man, that actually wasn't bad. So I learned how to mimic, which acting became the passion.
Okay.
So when I came to L.A., I was really just trying to dance because I had got so good at it. You know, it was only like a handful of us back in Gary that can really get off. And the dancing didn't take off right away. I didn't know nobody. I was a new fish in the pond because I'm back in Gary, light-skinned, green eyes.
You're the one.
I'm the one.
You're not flashing the green eyes tonight.
Nah.
You got some shades on, but you know, okay.
So I'm thinking I'm about to come out here and kill. I come out here, it's 50,000 other light-skinned dudes with green eyes. And I'm mad, livid. But it took me some years, and then I finally got my one big break. And then after that, career with the dance just took off, and I did 15 years of that.
Okay.
And then I retired a few years ago with Chris.
Okay. So you've been on tour with big ones. Well, I want to let you know, if you're in the chat listening, you can call us up, 800-920-1580 if you have some questions for Giovanni, or if you want to weigh in on any of these topics. Also, hit up our socials, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill. Giovanni, tell them where to find you.
At Giovanni W.
Okay. So continuing on, we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with G Herbo. Are you a fan? Are you familiar with his music?
Yeah, G Herbo, he's the homie. I don't know him personally, but he from the city next door to us.
Okay, right there, right over in Chicago. So he is facing 20 years behind bars. He's agreed to plead guilty in a Massachusetts federal wire fraud case. The allegations accused him of using stolen identities to fund private jets, a Jamaican villa, and designer puppies, and then lying about it to federal agents. So a plea agreement, the terms are still being finalized. There's rumors that he's going to plead guilty to 5 years and multiple fraud charges. We don't know if that's it yet, but he is up for at least 20 years. Do you think in this era with Instagram and all of these things, the pressure is on these artists to keep up these images, or are they doing it to themselves? Because there seems to be like a lot more scamming in hip hop. Like, it was always there, I'm sure, but all of these people keep getting caught up in these scams, and a lot of it just designer puppies.
I ain't never, listen, that puppy probably was about $80,000. I don't understand. I think it's a little mixture of both, honestly. I mean, what's better than saving your own money?
I mean, but so you've been here, you've been around it, you see how the influence is, and I'm sure you've come across someone that's been affected by the lights or wanting to fit in. Have you come across anyone like that? I'm not asking for names.
That was me myself at one point.
Really?
Yeah. I was caught in the lights for a moment until I had to go through that fire and realize I got to be in this world but not of it. You know, I learned to put my spiritual armor back on. And I try to tell a lot of people, young people, especially dancers coming out from all over the world, don't get caught in them lights, these double R signs and these Lamborghinis, because half of it's just fake. They taking them joints right back to the renting spot.
I mean, but look how far he's willing to go, and and
G Herbo, you got money, man.
Right.
Well, we can't count nobody else's pockets.
We can't. We don't know, but at least on the surface, it appears that you have business moves or things that are happening that you should not have to go to these lengths. But at what point, though, do we look at ourselves as consumers? Do we? Because, I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg, right? Because you think about early rap, and those guys were trying to look like the dope dealers on their block, right? So now we have this whole cycle where we've had, generation of that type of hip hop thing, but we still have our guys like going to jail.
So was he using like cards or something?
Yeah, like cards and identity.
Like
so basically, okay, so let me break it down, right? Let me break down what supposedly happened. So, according to the charges, in November 2018, G Herbo lied to U.S. federal agents regarding his relationship with a Chicago rap promoter. So the rap promoter is the mastermind behind the identity theft scheme. So G Herbo says that he's never received anything of value from the guy. I think his name is Strong. The charges allege that since 2016, he had given G Herbo exotic car rentals, private jet charters, and other valuable goods. And they have text messages, Instagram DMs, and that they show that they've been in contact for years. So he's probably going to have to pay $140,000 in restitution to a number of alleged victims, including $10,000 to Woof Woof Puppies in Michigan.
Not Woof Woof Puppies.
Woof Woof Puppies.
Wow. But here's the thing, G Herbo did this or the promoter dude?
Well, the things that I just listed off are things that G Herbo got from the promoter dude.
Oh, man.
I guess, but I don't know how it works. They're saying he received these things and he lied about it when the feds came to talk to him. Well, but they have text messages and DMs of something exchanged. Because the feds have like a 98% conviction rate. So I feel like when they got you...
If he knew about it, then he's in trouble. But if he honestly didn't know about it, I don't think he should be in trouble.
Well, they said they have 2 years worth of information, and unfortunately, like most people, he is going to come to a plea agreement and work through that.
Jesus.
So good luck to him with
luck.
that.
Bless up, G Herbo.
Magic Johnson is in the news. He has added another piece of a team franchise to his collection. So he's hoping to add another ring because so far he's gotten rings in all the other teams that he's had ownership in. He is now one of the new co-owners of the Washington Commanders, and he calls it the biggest achievement of his business career.
Really?
Yeah. So he said that he grew up as a huge football fan, and it's always been his dream, and now he gets to buy into a storied franchise. So
Never heard of him.
Yeah, well, they used to be called something else back in the day, and they were the Washington football team. I kind of feel like they should have left the Washington football team as their name, kind of.
That was the name of it?
For in between time, yeah.
Nah, they should change it. They should definitely stay with the name now. Washington football team, that's the team
that
name,
was
is football team.
Well, before that, it was a name that we can't really say anymore for all of those years.
Oh, I don't know why. I don't get it. But I'm going to do my research on it.
Okay, it's a name that Native Americans were offended by. Yeah.
Native Americans was offended by it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, mia Santa Maria Guadalupe.
So that's what that was. But so now Magic has a piece of that franchise. Dan Snyder, who was the owner, who was accused of many, many things, being a bad owner, racism, all of that stuff, walks away with $6 billion. So.
Hey, well, I could be. You can say all that stuff about me too if I'm walking away with $6 billion.
Right. Okay. So one of the things that I've also learned tonight, And you mentioned, you made reference to it, that you learned to mimic really well, and that's part of your thing with acting. How did you pick who you would master as far as impersonations? And who are you going to bring out for me tonight?
Oh, man.
You got to.
You know, sometimes I really don't know. I just be watching people. Like, I be looking at you, and I just start, like, moving my mouth. Or
Please don't do me.
No, I'm not going to do you because I have to be around you.
Okay.
But, like, if I'm with my friends or, you know, I just start, my body, it's just what God put in me to, like, start just, like, absorbing people's energy as far as, like, their body language, the way they talk. But I really started practicing great on, like, Charles Barkley, Stephen A. Smith, Terrence Howard, Doc Rivers, Will Smith. So those just a handful.
So who's your favorite? Whoever you pick is who you have to do. You know that.
Okay. I mean, I got a few favorites, but I you know, Charles, you know, that brother. I mean, let's talk about it right now on KBLA 1580. Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Let me tell you something. When I was working at Subway and I was the face of Subway, you would come get a $5 buck bar. That would be a bag of chip, a bill. Let me tell you something. He can never stay on topic.
Right.
He jumped all around the place. And it's not basketball, it's basketball.
That is true. There are some missing inflections in there, Charles. That's what gives him character, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned a lot of sports stars. Are you a big sports fan? Or do you think that those are just like personalities that are big enough that it was easy to grasp their characteristics?
That is just their unique voice. Because, you know, when Steven talks, he talks like this.
Right.
You know, he would go up here, and then he'll come back down and say, listen, if LeBron James is going to win this championship, I'm going to really need him to really focus in.
Okay.
It's like I always
with
tend
the
to
nasal, you got
I always get to tend and get, if you got a unique voice, I could probably get you.
Okay. So you mentioned how that helps you as far as developing your love of acting. How do you incorporate that when you are developing a character?
When I break it down, if I book a role, I do what it's called a character breakdown. It's something that's not even probably in the script or the size. They might not even give you enough. But I book a role and I sit and determine and decipher, why is this person like this? What makes him like this? How should he walk? How is his voice? You know, I played Reggie Wright Jr. on the murders of Biggie and Tupac. Unsolved, I played 3 recurring roles on there. And I had the opportunity to talk to Reggie Wright. And I couldn't meet him in person, but I had the opportunity to speak to him on the phone and got his voice down and his mannerisms down. And he said, hey, man, you made me look real innocent.
That's what he said? Okay, so well, you know that there's some news about Tupac and there was a warrant served in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts surrounding, since you worked on a project related to that, and you obviously, in playing that character, got to see some insight into the case that maybe, you know, you didn't know at the time or maybe hadn't locked in on. Do you feel differently about the case and the facts surrounding it now after having played that character and as things are coming out?
Man, that's such a great question, because after I was blessed to do that show, which I will not mention the platform it's on.
Right, can't do that.
They really showed the love and camaraderie between Biggie and Pac, how much of a friends they were. I had the pleasure of speaking with Mr. Greg Kading. He was the real-life investigating officer on it. And that script, a lot of things didn't make the script because it was too honest. That's why if you watch it, the whole show is pretty much from the POV of the police department.
Yeah, that's what I thought was interesting about it, because we've seen so many versions, but being in that, so continue on, because I'm curious to hear what you kind of have changed your mind about.
I strongly believe, I mean, it's kind of the same thing, and I'm going to just kind of speak in parables.
Of course.
You know, the same thing that happened to Nip, I feel like happened to both of these brothers after reading this script and being on set with Bone, the guy who was actually the acting coaches for myself and helping us get the accent down, and for the guy who played Mark Rose that played Pop. You know, you get to see these brothers talking. You know, you get to hear some stuff and that they can't say, but I know now what I didn't know then. And that's all I'm going to say.
So you feel totally different about it.
Completely.
Okay. An interesting process. So as a fan, right? Because when you step into a role where it is someone who actually existed in its real life, I'm sure that there's something different in your approach than when it's a total fictional character and made up. So do you approach that any differently? I know you mentioned talking to him, but do you think about your characterization in a different sort of mindset or form because this person exists?
Well, one thing, I look exactly like him.
Okay.
And I think that's the reason why I got the role, because the audition, I'm not going to lie, I went in there drunk and I ended up throwing up.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Did you have a light night out? Like, was that a coping mechanism at the time? Okay.
Sometimes I used to get these little bzzz in me so much, and this was like my first network thing, and Anthony Hemingway.
Shiny boots on.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And he had me come in, and I had a few too many, like, warm-up shots
to settle yourself.
To settle myself, and but I got it because I can't do the job, but I look like him, and it was scary. I thought it was my dad because I don't know my dad.
Are we kidding?
I'm dead serious.
What? Okay. We're going to come back to that in a second. Leslie Holmes shouted you out. She said you look just like him. I'm not sure if that was Chuck or Stephen A., but she is rolling in the chat. So
thank you.
They're being entertained and enjoying that. So really quickly, break this down for me in 60 seconds or less. Are you kidding when you say you don't know who your dad is? Or are you being facetious because this man was on the East Coast at some point in time? Walk me through that a little bit.
Listen, my close friends know I got this joke. And I have a lot of get-togethers at me and my old lady's house. And we have these hosting things. And when somebody's about to leave, I'm like, oh, cool, you about to be out? Just like my dad, huh?
Okay, no, Giovanni.
I'm not lying.
No. I know that you are not lying, but we're going to release that. We're going to release you
You
got
to find a happiness in that pain. That's why I laugh at it.
Okay, so one thing I will always say that I love about us as Black people, and when we come forward, we'll get into more of that, but I believe that we use laughter to heal our pain, and we laugh at some things that are inappropriate, but it's a release. It's stopping something that could be far worse or far more depressing than whatever the situation may already be.
You don't want to hear the other one I laughed at.
Okay, no, we're going to save that. We're going to save that. We're going to keep that in the tuck. Leslie Holmes said she was laughing at both of them, so shout out to her. When we come forward, we'll have more with Giovanni Watson. You are listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. We have news and sports coming.
With Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The record-long heat wave shows no signs of letting up in the U.S. Over 2,000 heat records have been broken across the southern U.S., from California to Florida, since the first heat advisories were posted in early June. Forecasters warn the heat dome is expanding in Texas and in the Southwest, and triple digits could drag well into next week and beyond. The New Orleans City Council says Black Mayor LaToya Cantrell's office violated state law regarding political flyers sent out earlier this year. According to Council President J.P. Morrell, the mayor's office bought and distributed the flyers with city funds, but never revealed the cost. And a single winning ticket in the billion-dollar Powerball lottery has been sold in California. If you didn't win, about $720 million will be up for grabs in the Mega Millions drawing this Friday night. I'm Esther Dillard from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Prime members save more at your Amazon Fresh store. As a Prime member, you'll save 10% on hundreds of items in store, from organic produce to pantry staples to handcrafted pizza. Head to Amazon.com/fresh locations and find a store near you.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your beer.
Follow the leader.
Following the leader.
Oh my God. Follow the leader. 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 Follow the leader.
Have you heard about Lendistry? Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered right here in LA. Once you've started your business, Lendistry provides flexible financing options starting at $50,000 to help you access the affordable capital needed to grow. Visit lendistry.com/KBLA to learn more.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The rent is too damn high. KBLA joins you in calling for affordable housing. The LA Tenants Union is a diverse, tenant-led movement fighting for the human right to housing for all. The LA Tenants Union demands safe, affordable housing and union rent control. They organize against landlord harassment, mass evictions, and displacement, and mobilize for the repeal of the Ellis Act and Costa-Hawkins Act. The LA Tenants Union is on a mission to strengthen tenants' political power through education, advocacy, and direct action. To get help with your eviction or other landlord-tenant issues, take action for justice, or become a member, visit latenantsunion.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
To my hometown, my community. Some of you have known me my whole life. Do you notice anything different about the kids in the neighborhood? Ever paid attention? You might start with gifts, money, attention. These are signs. Child trafficking is happening right here in this town. So don't just watch through the window. Pay attention. Because the more we know, the more we'll all know to say no. Learn the signs to look for and how to help at no-to-say-no.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Batman Scoop, Brooklyn Clan, Timberland, Batman Scoop, Brooklyn Clan, Timberland, whatever I say, y'all gotta do whatever I say.
So me and Giovanni, we having a stare. We're about to have a dance battle in here. Okay, look at you. All right, if you were on YouTube, look, check it out. That's why you need to be watching the Ustream or download the app. Take us with you wherever you want to go. You know, that is the benefit of that. So I hope that you've been paying attention. because we've been having an interesting conversation with my guest, Giovanni Watson. We talked a little bit about his dance career, hence the "you got served" moment that Andy so graciously just gave us. Throw it up. Giovanni did dance for Omarion at one point.
Oh, it's got to go down the list.
Let's go down the list.
Work with O, will.i.am, tour with him, Tamar Braxton, Kiki Sheard, Beyonce, Chris Brown, Mario, Sade. I did R. Kelly.
Look, hey. Sade, that's interesting because that's not someone that you generally think of that has, background talent with her because they're a band and then you have her. Mm-hmm. So what was that experience like?
It was a one-off. It was a party for this super rich guy.
Okay.
I'm not going to say his name.
Okay.
But he's a super rich guy. He flew us out to London and we just, for some reason, she just wanted some dancers.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. So what was it like dancing for Chris? Because I imagine that's a high energy thing.
Oh, man. Listen, I'm retired now, but that's the only person that could get me to come back.
Really?
Chris.
That seems like that would be intense. Like, how long are the practice sessions?
I've done a few videos with him. Those days consisted sometime of like 10 hours a day.
Yeah. Okay. Listen. Andy, what say you? You got a question?
I hope I'm not jumping the gun,
Go ahead,
Miss Jill.
What's that?
But I gotta ask him now.
Okay.
Top 5 dancers dead or alive.
That's a great question.
That's great. Dancers dead or alive. So we're going. Michael Jackson's number 1.
Absolutely.
Chris Brown, number 2. We're gonna go with Usher.
So you think Chris over Usher? Is this a personal bias or really?
No, Chris over Usher for sure. Usher just got a grown man swag. It's a different type of dancing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but Chris is in grown man territory at this point,
nah,
yeah?
It's different.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to freestyling and vocabulary and the dancing, Chris all day. MC Hammer.
Okay. I approve of that. I am happy about that.
MC Hammer is insane.
Because people don't respect, like, it's so interesting. Andy giving it up. He's going crazy in the booth. Shout out to that. So, for me,
I still got one more, though.
Okay. We're going to get on your one more, but I'm going to share my MC Hammer moment with you
go
because
ahead.
I feel like you would appreciate it. And it's not about pumps in the bump. Okay. So, when MC Hammer first dropped, right, it was at a time East Coast rap was still dominant. West Coast rap had like Young MC, Tone Loc, but they weren't really dancing in their stuff. MC Hammer came with that Bay Area swag and dominated. Like, they danced hard as heck, but were smooth and just,
swoop,
rode it out. He even had a doll, man. So
yeah, I know. And you know what? I'm gonna recant on Usher. I'm taking him out.
What?
I'm putting James Brown in there. And
okay.
And then my 5th one is not a person, it's a group, and it's Troop.
Troop over New Edition?
Troop could outdance New Edition.
Listen, I love Troop. Like the Mamacita video when they're the skyway the camera comes over and they hit that pop.
See, because they know how to dance and they was poppers too.
Right. New Edition pop. Don't you remember the first video, Popcorn Love, black and white? Popcorn. Come on.
Go home and watch Troop.
I know Troop like
in
my mind.
You was there.
I was a fan. I mean, I wasn't there, but I was a fan. I was paying attention.
But it's so many,
I watched it on
you can't
Video
just put
Soul.
it 5, man. Cause then I gotta say Jackie Wilson. It's just so many. Fred Astaire.
Okay.
The Nicholas Brothers. It's a lot.
Okay. Shout out to you for mentioning Fred Astaire. He did change some things. That's an interesting comment. Well, you are a dancer.
Well, you gotta know your foundation.
Okay. I appreciate that, Andy.
Forever, me and the homies, we used to always debate between who was a better dancer, Omarion or Chris Brown.
Oh,
Chris Brown.
And me, I used to always advocate for Omarion simply because when you look at Chris Brown, when he first came into the game, Chris Brown was doing a lot of the stuff that Omarion already had done.
Early on, I agree with you. Early on, I would agree with you. I think coming in, Omarion was better than Chris Brown. But I think as it evolved, I think you can actively see Chris incorporating more dance styles as he got older in a way.
Well, here's a good thing about that, Andy, because you made the same debate that my boy who actually choreographs for Omarion. In the beginning, O was by far But as the years went by, Chris just took over because Chris started putting that work ethic in, and had took a hiatus. You know, he cut his hair off. He went through the Samson thing. He cut his braids off. I said when he cut his braids off, that's when he lost.
That's when he made the difference.
And don't ever forget about Genuine too.
Oh, okay. Well, here, somebody in the chat has a word they would like to put into the list for selection to see if we've missed something. Terry says, Bobby Brown would like a word, please.
Ooh.
Bobby Brown would like a word, please.
Yeah.
You know, this is a pretty interesting list. It's hard to pare it down. Okay, I got a way. Let's keep it to, because Bobby Brown had a relevant album. He had some platinum hits in the 90s, right? So I'm going to group some eras together that don't go together. Bobby, right? Usher, Chris. Bobby, Usher, Chris, Genuine. Order those for me. And Omarion.
Bobby, Usher, Chris, Usher. No, Chris, Usher. Okay, is Bobby in his peak?
Yes, we were talking 89.
Okay,
Don't Be Cool, Energy, Gumby.
Chris, Bobby, Genuine. Who's this? Who's the other one you said?
Usher.
And who was the fifth one? The other one?
O.
And O.
Okay, so Omarion's last of that group? Yeah. Okay.
I hope you don't hear this. I love you, O.
Okay, no, we're just hypotheticals. Everybody is amazing. No, they all have their own place, and they have all done things and established something. Each one moved it forward. They're all of a certain era that represents a certain time period.
That's
Omarion transitioning from boy group to solo artist, that was a moment.
B2K was cold, too. We can talk about this this could be a whole nother show.
It really could be, because Omarion set the stage for Chris to make his entry.
And Chris is very adamant, and lets people know that he looked up to O.
And then, and we know Usher from the 90s on, he was that path, because we think there was a lot of male artists, especially in the 90s, but not many that had the dancing and the singing and the hits that Usher did. He had, that's what makes a superstar, right? He had that rare air. Even though, like, there were moments, because you think about the 90s and 2000s, and then we'll get off this, but that was the era, too, of producer sounds, right? So when you think about producer sounds, producers were loaning their sounds out to other people. So a lot of those tracks sound very similar, and it worked for this one, but this one tried to cut and paste, and
thank you, Babyface.
It didn't go nowhere.
Teddy Riley.
The era of the super producers. When we come forward, we'll have more with Giovanni Watson. We're going to talk some more about these trending topics, all that and more. You're checking out KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hollywood Walk of Fame stars in 2024. Stay tuned to find out who's in next year's class. I'm Aisha Cairo with your K-Black Minute News. A new group of 31 entertainment professionals across film, television, radio, recording, and sports entertainment will have their names etched into Hollywood's history in 2024. One of the most celebrated names on the list was the beloved Chadwick Boseman. Others for the class of 2024 in Hollywood Walk of Fame was this year's Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh in the motion picture category. Other notable names include Chris Pine, Gwen Stefani, Andre, Dr. Dre, Young, Otis Redding, Christina Ricci, Brandy Norwood, Harry Washington, and more. The dates for the star ceremonies have not yet been scheduled. To find out all 31 inductees, visit youtube.com/Walk of Fame.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Sprinklers in the Rain and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on. K-Drip.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
Hey, you are checking out RSVP with me, Jill Munroe, here on KBLA Talk 1580. Now, remember, if you want to call in, you have some conversation, you have your own dancers list, you feel like we left someone out, and you want to get into that, give us a call, 800-920-1580. I am having a great conversation with my guest, Giovanni Watson. We were talking about his top 5 dancers, and we got into a little debate, little side convo. We added some to the mix, but I got a text. Andy also suggested this, so obviously this is a question that's on a lot of people's mind, and I have to ask you, Giovanni, who are your top 5 female dancers?
Dead or alive or current or old new?
Dead or alive.
Janet.
Yes.
Paula Abdul.
Okay. Straight up.
Fatima Robinson.
Okay.
Rosie Perez.
Okay.
Yeah, because she had this real
I know she
style
had
that I love.
Rosie was bouncy, and that
hair
was going, and the way that she would rock down the Soul Train line. But I love Rosie, but I don't know if I feel like her strongest choreography, like her strongest trait was as a choreographer. Dancer, and I know we're not
big stuff.
I mean, I know she did, but I don't know that I loved it. That's just maybe my personal preference. Like, come on now, what she did at the opening of Do the Right Thing, that is iconic. That we had never seen imagery like that on film. So, but continue with your list. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm curious.
No, it's fine.
Because I think we only got one left.
Yeah. And you know what? It's this. Yeah, I was gonna say Sierra.
No Beyonce, no Tina Turner. I'm just asking.
Nah, Beyonce is cool.
Cool. Okay.
She's cool.
Okay. All right. Here's I respect Cece like crazy, because Cece is one of those, you could tell she has that down south. Exactly. And when she got on top of the, what was it, a Cutlass in the O video?
You better know the exact car.
Come on, what? With the big listen, and then Luda came through.
She was bucky naked under that fur coat on that Cutlass.
Listen, they were breaking it down. That is a classic video moment. That song still goes. Luda's voice and lyrics were so clear. The imagery, the whole thing. Yeah, they set it up.
But you got down with the Paula Abdul though.
Oh, straight up. Come on now.
Now tell me.
Do you really want to love me forever?
Oh. Okay.
Caught up in a hit and run. What? I mean, here's the thing. I understand Paula, and Paula was a Laker girl, and Paula choreographed Janet Jackson. So that to me is perfectly acceptable. I take Paula.
You know your ish.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Andy, what say you?
I don't know what year, But it was between 2005 and 2009 BET Awards, Sierra Chris Brown performance.
Yes, I was there. I can tell you what year it was because was I at that? I think maybe I'm lying. Maybe I was at it a year after that. I think that was 2006 though. I think it was 2006. I'm not sure. So we have some more names to add to the mix from the chat. They want to throw in. Someone threw in Chris Tucker because of the Michael Jackson thing. I'm going to let you ride with that. But Leslie Holmes said, we can't forget Miss Debbie Allen. That is a cold one. Debbie can do any dance style. She's still doing it at 70-something years old. I adore Debbie Allen. She was a quadruple threat. Act, dance, write, direct, all of it, like a complete package. Love that. They also mentioned Lady Gaga. I'm just saying, it's in the chat. Madonna. No, I'm not mad at Madonna. Madonna in 82, come on, she was hanging out in the New York hip-hop scene with Basquiat and all of that. And Holiday was my jam. Okay, there is someone here being a little bit of sour. Really, really. I 80s Madonna, I might take it. I don't know who I would take off, so I might not take it that far, but I might take it. Rihanna, I'm not taking that. I love Rihanna down. And let me tell you, I'll go see Rihanna do her stand, half dance, two-step, and then grind in the middle. I do it.
I got it. Missy Elliott.
Okay. Andy's confused, but Missy has great choreography. Missy gave the visuals. Think about like She's the B Word video. Think about the 1 Minute Man video.
She's not it's just the imagery that hi-hat puts behind her makes her look like she's an incredible dancer.
The staging, the choreography, the showmanship of it brings it to another level. So let's go. Okay, Thomas Outlaw said Tiana Taylor. I'm not mad at Tiana Taylor is out here saving lives and careers. You really got to, I applaud that. What she is doing for these young artists, and they need it because she is bringing showmanship to their stage shows, some professionalism, some vision.
She's creative directed Lil Baby's tour now.
Exactly. We talked about that the other night. So hopefully he comes back with something because, people are spending a lot of money for these concert tickets. And, So... Giovanni, why are you laughing at me?
Really? That's just funny.
The really thing? That was kind of comedy. So Giovanni, you also recently produced your own short film. Talk to us about that.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not a short film. It's a TV series.
It's a TV series? Oh, my bad.
Nah.
It's a pilot.
It's a pilot. It's going to be a TV series.
That's going to be a TV series.
Yes.
Amen. Okay, so tell us about it.
It's called The West, The Ties That Bind. Me and my producing partner, Bam Erickson, and Ty Edwards, we created this originally to tie into the Power universe.
Okay.
Basically, if anybody that watches Power knows that Tommy was supposed to come to L.A.
That's right.
So when he turned that car around and went back to Chicago, I came up with the idea, said, what would be going on in L.A. while all this other stuff is going on in the Power universe? We shot it. It did very well. We showcased it at Dave Brown's Indie Film Night.
Okay, shout out to Dave Brown, OG Industry.
Got a lot of eyes on it, and now we're in the bed with a few people.
Okay, I like to hear that. We love to hear about indie work, people doing their thing, making their opportunity happen, not just waiting for it to come.
Hey, man, I learned that from Marlon Wayans. Shout out, Marlon. I love you, man.
Okay, we like Marlon Wayans. He's fun. Marlon is gotten funnier as he has gotten older. He's like really stepping into his grown man comedy bag. Yeah, you love to see it. I do, at least,
Me too, absolutely.
So, all right, tell us once again where we can find you because they're going to want to tap in.
Oh, man, you can find me. My address is 11915. Oh, wait.
No.
Oh, not my house.
I mean, listen, you want them to show up at your door? No. I mean, we could have that too, but I don't think that's the type of heat you want, especially not the way LA is set up right now. I'm joking.
You can just find me on Instagram at Giovanni W, GIOVANNIW. Or 37thfilms.com.
Okay, we like that. And before I let you go, any thoughts or feelings about the current strike? Or are you just like in solidarity and we going to make this do what it do?
It's funny because I'm actually having to head out to do a sketch regarding the strike that I wrote.
Okay.
And, I'm going to give it away because it's really good. So it's basically Training Day. It's a scene from Training Day.
Okay.
And it's basically...
Are you Zoe, or are you Ethan Hawke's character?
I'm Denzel's character.
Okay.
So it's just basically my take on that about the strike, doing it in a parody way. But my thoughts about it is we have to stand together for what we want. We have to stand together as a family because we do a lot of hard work. We write a lot of things. You know, we are entitled to our likeness. We are entitled to us being not used, not getting somebody else to be replaced, and the one who don't want to give us no bread. We're entitled to more benefits. These writers you don't have a show without writers. These writers do need to be on set sometimes. These writers should have input. You know, actors, new faces, middle faces, big faces, we all need our benefits. And if we march and stand together, eventually somebody's going to have to crack. If you don't crack, then you guys don't have a show. They're canceling shows left and right. And pretty soon we're just going to be at home watching YouTube.
I know that. Well, it's nothing wrong with watching YouTube. We're
Not a
watching on
dang
YouTube
thing.
right now, but we also want to be able to check out our scripted shows and all the things that we appreciate so we can check things out everywhere. Okay, really, really quick, 60 seconds or less. We asked this question the other night. I'm going to ask you right now. Out of these 4 Eddie Murphy classic movies, which one is your favorite?
Coming to America.
Okay.
You don't need. You don't.
Yeah, I ain't got to go
you
no
don't even
further.
gotta.
I don't even got to listen anything. Okay,
Now, ask
okay.
me my favorite Will Smith movie.
What's your favorite Will Smith movie?
7 Pounds.
Okay, that is a deep movie.
I cry like a girl every time I watch it.
I have never watched that more than once. I watched it the first time and I was like, I'm good. I don't need to reflect on work through that again. It's an amazing movie though.
Okay.
Okay. I like Focus.
Trash.
You think it's trash? I thought it was kind of interesting. Not because it's a great movie, but I just thought that the story and there was something interesting about it randomly. You're like, nope, don't work for me. It's okay. We can all have our little side things that we're like, maybe.
Because next time you have these questions, like me, I just fired off quick and said, come to America.
Yep.
You got to immediately come out with an, okay, so, well, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, listen. I can ask questions all day, but I know you got to go.
I do. Give me one more, though.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Favorite or who's better, Beyonce or Janet?
Thank you for having me on the show.
See?
I really appreciate this.
You say you want the smoke, you don't want the smoke. Okay, not just a little puff.
You already know what I was going to say.
I do, but I'm just going to ask.
Janet Jackson. Now, this Janet Jackson that's on this tour right now is, but it's still Janet Jackson.
Listen, Janet is doing amazing for her age. Thank you so much, Giovanni.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you here. You are listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. When we come forward, we will have more trending topics and headlines. On the other side, news and sports. Check it out.
Girls roll deep in the club. Can't wait to hit the bar and get effed up. For my dogs who got more than 100 bucks. Can't wait to freak one of those big old bugs. Before we start to turn it out, you must learn to crunk out. Before we start to turn it out, you must first begin to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Now drop, now drop, now drop, now drop. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Now drop, now drop, now drop.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Esther